everyone, my name is Barbara and I'm going to show you my finished object, socks. First things first, this is plain vanilla sock. This is only collar pattern on the actual, it's like a print on the yarn. These socks are for my sister for her birthday, so again this is a gift knitting, and as you can see it's longer than usual. So let's start with what I used, tools. This video is my record, and so I'll tell you more about the rows, how many stitches I casted on, and so on and so on. So in the future, in case this is not a fitted sock, I will know what to do. Bag I used this one. This is very small, very handy one, and because I was knitting these socks, let's say one at a time, that was perfect. Although I love to keep everything in one bag, it was just barely closing, but I love flowers, as you may know, and I think it's so cute. Next, needles. I used, for fun, I wanted to kind of do something different, and I used 9 inches, which is Haya Sharps, 2.25 millimeters, which is US size 1. And yeah, and as you can see, it's very awkward to knit. You knit with 1 or 2 fingers, but I liked it. I'm getting a gist of it, I would say, and I'm getting a gist actually, and I have another socks of my needles. Anyway, however, for toes and heels, I used longer circular needles on 100 centimeters cord, which is 40 inches, the same size, and some stitch markers to mark what I want to place my heel. Yarn. So yarn I used Drops yarn, and this yarn for me is one to go, and especially if I'm thinking of knitting socks as a gift, and especially for someone who's not a knitter and treats socks like socks. They are perfect. They're, as I can quote, cheap as crisps, and especially when it's sale. So basically during the sale for 100 gram I paid less than €4, which is quite good. And as you can see, it's a really nice pattern. This is Drops Fabel long print, and the color is 916, which has its name, and it's Grand Canyon. That's why I called these socks Grand Canyon. You may notice that I have a contrast heel over here, and I used also Drops, which is this one, and the color is 101. It probably has a name, but unfortunately those names are not on the label, so I can't tell you. It's 75-25 wool polyamide, both of them, and I really like them. I really like them. Hard to give it away. Okay, how did I knit them? I casted on, now more math, I casted on 56 stitches. I was working in the round, right? And I did 2x2 ribbing, which is 2 knit, 2 purl, for 20 rows. Then I was knitting a tube, so I did afterthought heel, which means that I included the heel when I finish a tube and the toes. I decided to I just wanted the toe to finish on this really nice darker color, which I achieved, but to do that, it ended up to being a little bit longer than I usually knit socks. But I think because it's a present, and I think this would be cool, be something different that she has in her drawer, so I hope she's going to like it. In regards to heels and toes, I did the same math. What I did one, same decreases. I did 1 row of knit and another row of decreases. And how did I do that? Well, because I switched now to longer needles, and you will have a photo over here, as you may notice. So I divided this into two sections, on one needle and the second needle. And when I did 1 row, I was knitting on both, and then I was doing the creases another row. I was knitting one, then did SSK, knit the last 3 stitches, knit 2 together, and knit 1. And I repeated that on the second needle, which gives you a full round. And those 2 rows, the one with the knitting and the one with the creasing, I repeated until I got to 10 stitches per needle, which I presume is 20 overall. And then I did, I'll probably mispronounce that completely, Kitchering stitch. Anyway, it means that you have to leave a longer thread, cut the yarn, use a tapestry needle, and do some things to achieve a smooth join over here, which I love. And then once I do that, well, actually, before I was doing this, I wanted to pay attention to where my beginning of the round is, to kind of get the gist where it's going to be in the middle, because I just placed my marker off of that to have an idea. Maybe for math record, I did not, and what did I do? I took my socks, and basically I know my sister has ish my size, slightly smaller, and I took a few rows down. I know the yarn stretches, so hopefully it'll be fine, but if you ask me how many rows I have between the toes before the creases and before I place my heel, it's 57 rows. So in case they're too big, I know I need to go less than 57. Now, heel. As I said, heel was exactly the same math as toe, so it's not a problem. However, I'll tell you a little bit more. Here is a photo, so you can see that I have needles already placed on the sock. So I know when I want to place it. Between those two needles, there's a kind of clean row, let's say, when I have to snap a thread of yarn in the middle and open up the hole. And what I did 3 rows without decreasing, and then I started my decreasing, just to have that section a little bit bigger. And that's how I do my socks most of the times. I like also to do them from toes up, but in this case, I was thinking then, in case she has a hole in the heel, I can fix that, because you know the end of the thread is on the top over here, and in case something happens to the toes, I can unravel it and also fix it. So that's why I would suggest and prefer this method for sock knitting for someone else, because you don't know how often they're going to use them, and if something happens to them, it'd be very easy to fix. Yeah, I used for those two socks, I used 62 grams. So it is approximately 4 grams on the heels, or even 2 grams on the heels, something like that. I had 2 50-gram balls, so I was working separately. But for heels, I was using a method 2 at a time, so I put 2 socks on 1 needle. So, you know, I sometimes mix those things with the decreases. Everyone does. So what I did over here, I used a button, and I took the thread from the middle and from the outside, threaded through the button, and I was able to start knitting. Obviously the yarn was twisting, so I could grab the yarn, grab the button, and just work with the ball itself to untwist it, because obviously I don't have a habit to, when I'm knitting, I always kind of twist my needles the same direction. That's why the yarn twist. I should have one time twist one way and another time twist another way, but you know, who would think about that? I don't have a good habit actually in knitting, let's say that. I think that's all. If you have any questions, let me know. I know people are asking for me to show and create a tutorial, and I'm not really good, I think, explaining things. I love showing you what I've knitted, and I love socks like this because they're mindless, you can relax, something is creating, you can grab it for 3 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and something is progressing. So it's very good to kind of see that even though that you're spending a bit of time here and there, something is actually creating. I've done them, I think, I don't know, maybe it took me 2 weeks or 3 weeks to make them. And it's not that I sat and did, because actually people are able to knit socks in 8 hours to 15 hours. I've never timed myself because it's not a work. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to use #knittingalove. Show me what you're knitting on Instagram. That's where you can find me the most. Go check my website if you're interested in my pouches or tags or anything like that. Check the link down below. And I hope I'm going to see you next one. Bye. Next one is a hat.